I think towards the match of Man City, Arteta was asked on whether he really needed players and was like, "We are working hard to bring in a forward because all what we are having is not enough to keep us up into the sky." And guess what? It went ahead obviously unfold as Arsenal never obviously went ahead obviously getting any striker as anticipated by Arteta and his coaching staff. And as we speak right now, Arteta is upset, and he's upset with Kroenke and the board of Arsenal, though he has spoken in parables. If you can really read things under the carpet, you can understand that Arteta is speaking under a very, very, very disappointed influence. Welcome to the Rokani Media Football. How are you guys and where are you watching us from? I go by the names of Rokani David. Smash the like button, comment and share. If at all you're watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. Rokani David is my name and hope you guys are really having fun wherever you are. Smash the like button. Close to how many times? 200 times, and see to it that all really goes on well as we want it to be. Now, we are powered by none other than Mono Gadgets, and this time around towards the Valentine period or Valentine's Day celebrations, we have what we call affordable smartwatches. If you need to surprise your loved one, call them on +256 70 99 88 665. They'll obviously get your loved one that gift that you want, and it's all about a favorable smartwatch. They also have phones, Android, iPhone, used from UK, and laptops. So please do the needful and dial that number +256 70 99 88 665, and that is Mono Gadgets for you. Now, Arteta yesterday was really directed questions at him, and most of those were all about Arsenal not bringing in a player. Arteta on whether he was worried about upsetting the balance of the characteristics of this squad. He said no, that wasn't part of it. That wasn't an issue with any player that we were trying to find. So, Arteta was asked on whether he was worried and upset for not getting in a player. He said no, that the issue wasn't about that on the player they're trying to find. He's just confirmed to us that the fact is Arsenal wanted to bring in a player and they wanted to bring in a forward, but the board let him down as a manager because every manager wants to be having his best players available. With Saka unavailable, Jesus unavailable, you obviously need a forward. Arteta on whether he was worried about upsetting the balance of the squad. All right, that's what we're going to talk about. Then Arteta on whether the right player wasn't available this window. He said, I wouldn't like to go into too much detail. We couldn't do it for certain reasons and we have to accept it. That is it. It was a combination of things. And when he says that he doesn't want to go much into that detail, they couldn't sign that player because of certain reasons, And what is the number one reason for not bringing a player? It's because the board was not willing to obviously pay £60 million to bring in Ollie Watkins. That is it. Meaning that the much they would spend as a side of Arsenal was £40 million. That's the much they would spend on a player during the January transfer window. And Arteta is like, it's a combination of very many reasons. And we all know to it that Arteta cannot be the reason as to why he doesn't want a player in, because he told us that he needed a player. So if he tells you that combination of reasons, he's like trying not to really point at one person or his bosses, but we who read letters inside the envelope, he was telling us like, it's all about my board. My board let me down, but the fact is we wanted a player and the players we wanted were available on the market. And that really best shows us what Arsenal really wanted and how much they wanted to spend, because Cunha was there for £60 million. If everyone was like, Ollie Watkins is going to clock 30 years of age and we cannot spend £60 million, if that's the reason they were giving for them not to obviously do it that way, then I don't really accept it, because a 25-year-old player who had scored, 13 goals in the league and some, 3-5 assists, that is Matthias Cunha, was available, and spending £60 million on Matthias Cunha is something great about it. So guys, that's exactly how things really went ahead to happen down there at the side of Arteta, and he's pinning his bosses for not really getting him signings. And lastly, I think he was asked on whether it's a gamble not to make the squad bigger in this winter transfer window that was concluded on 3rd of February. He said it's not a gamble, it's a reality. We have to face the reality of what we have. We have the players that we have. Some of them are on loan. We have never had a squad of 35, 40, 45 players. So many clubs have 45 players on their shortlist. We don't have that size at the moment. That's our reality. We have had to do so much in the last few years. That's where we are. We are going to have to evolve there as well, and have more players from the academy. And the ones that are here to be fit along, that is the job that's permanent. It keeps evolving, and we need to be on our toes. Now, he is obviously sending a message to his bosses that you are not really aiding me enough. You want me to compete with Pep Guardiola, you want to compete with Liverpool, you want me to compete with Chelsea and very many other clubs that have close to 40, 45 players in the squad. Remember, the club needs 30 players in their squad, and then the 15 should be those players from the academy. That's why he's talking about 40, 45. But when you look at Arsenal, if you talk about goalkeepers, they're having 2. Then when you look at that entire back line, Tomiyasu is injured, Ben White is injured. Now you're having Kivio, Zinchenko, Carafiori, Lewis Kelly, Gabriel Magalhaes, Timber, Saliba, right? Jakub Kivio. So when you look at the players Arsenal really have, when they really do have, they are not really to obviously complete the job, and that's what the manager is really completing about. And he was sending that message to Kroenke that you aren't doing your job, because if I'm really short of these players, then that means something is wrong. And remember, after Arsenal went ahead obviously lose the trophy to Man City in 2022, 2023, Arteta came up and made a very bold speech that next season he wants a fully fit 22-man squad, meaning that he wanted to get 2 players in every position. And when you look at Arsenal, do they have 2 players in every position? Right back, Ben White, Tomiyasu, both are injured. Left back, I think that's where Arsenal is more bloated into that position. Carafiori, Zinchenko, Kientieni, Ricardo. The other one is Lewis Kelly, Ricardo Carafiori, Jakub Kivio. You can talk about Lewis Kelly. There is Kientieni. Arsenal has 5 players that can play in that position. Central defense, Julian Timber, Saliba, Kivio, Carafiori. I think they really have 4 players, like 2 in every position. Then CDM, Jorginho, Declan Rice, Partey. Attacking midfield, Odegaard, Kai Havertz, Waneri. Right attacking midfield, Saka only, meaning that there is really there is a deficiency into that area. That place is really thin. On the left, they have Kientieni, and they also have they have Martinelli, and they also have Leandro Trossard. They have 2 players that play that side. Leading the line, they only have one number 9. That is Gabriel Jesus, who is injured, meaning that the 2 most important positions for Arsenal to fill are the right winger, who will obviously come and compete with Saka, though I think Waneri is there, but I've counted Waneri as a player to compete with Martin Odegaard, because we all know that is his favorite position, and the manager is grooming him to be that. Now that means Arsenal need to bring in a player who will obviously do the job, either to compete with Martin Odegaard or to compete with Bukayo Saka. And leading the line, that's why most Arsenal fans were like, get in a forward, and that's why I was like, Matthias Cunha ticks my boxes, because he can play as a center forward, right forward, and left forward. That is Matthias Cunha for you, and he is really a very talented player. His physical attributes are really out of this world, and that's what makes him one of the best players in on the list that Arsenal wanted, on the list of strikers that Arsenal wanted to sign one during the winter transfer window. So guys, what are your thoughts about Arteta upset with Kroenke after not getting him a forward in the January transfer window? He's upset, he's furious, and we are waiting to see what your thoughts are about this. Rokani David remains my name. I'm out. Bye-bye.